Namaste. Soraya here from On Soul Purpose, and I haven't cut a video for a little while. It's been a very interesting time as far as time goes with this last full moon. Felt a great surge of energy coming through since then. So this morning I was contemplating on why we're here, and the term that came up was self-realisation. And we don't hear this so much anymore in the early writings on yoga. This term was used quite a lot, and it's a really good term, self-realisation. So let's just have a look at that term. Realising the self. And for those who are on the path of a seeker, this is really the path. There is nothing wrong with being a seeker. In fact, when we first begin to question things, whether that's questioning society or questioning the politics or questioning, what's it all about, questioning what is happiness, questioning all the beliefs that we're, brainwashed into from the age of about 2. Beginning to question things is becoming a seeker and seeking truth. And that seeking of truth can lead us to self-realisation. Realising who is this self, is this body myself? Is it all about the body? Well, it certainly seems to be all about the body, doesn't it? When you look at all the advertising around, and every woman has a flawless complexion, and every man has, wonderful pecs and muscles, and even selling chocolate. Chocolate is shown on the ads to, everyone's smiling. They've still got the perfect complexion and, the tailored slim body, even though they're eating chocolate. Chocolate gives happiness. Whatever it is, the advertising, the programming that's happening through the media, through schools, through everything we see, is drumming into us that we are this body. But just think about it. Now, surgeons can actually give a heart transplant. It's often believed that the heart is our centre, the physical heart. That heart is our first brain, and that our identification comes from the heart. Well, actually, we can transplant a heart now, and that body will continue to function. That person will continue to function. We are not this body. This body is a miraculous and wonderful vehicle, and wow, what a chariot to ride through life with. It's fantastic, but we are not this body. So who am I? And as we begin to question everything in life, we come to that ultimate question, who am I? And that is leading us toward self-realisation. We can get caught up in the trappings of all sorts of methodology and healings. Oh, beautiful bird just flew right by there. And we can think that that's it. But if I reflect back over my own life, for instance, I guess my initial touch with spirituality came as a child when I used to hide in the forest and write poetry. And then I practiced martial arts for many years, and, you know, on the tatami, on the judo mat, I learnt discipline and perseverance and determination. And also, you know, we would spend time sitting in reflection. I had a very good teacher. That led on later to experimenting with marijuana and a few drugs, which was pretty short-lived because I found that there wasn't the clarity there that I was seeking. So that led into yoga in my late teens. And through the balancing of energies within this body and that reharmonizing and the practice of meditation, I experienced that complete clarity and expansion beyond the body, and had quite a few experiences that showed me I was not limited to this body. Of course, I went on and trained as a Reiki master. I did naturopathy, and we all have our journeys, you know, and each part of that is precious. Each part of that is slowly dissolving the old programs and allowing for greater openness of mind, greater questioning, deeper questions, and allowing a sense of expansiveness and freedom to come in. Self-realisation, which is a term I haven't thought of for a long time, but was initially really hit me at the age of 19 when I started practicing yoga and started reading about great saints and great yogis. However, I wasn't ready to completely dissolve. I was in the throes of enjoying the dream as a young person and exploring the dream, which is really what we're here to do. We're here to explore that dream as much as we want to, or as little as we want to. Everything is in flow if we just allow ourselves to flow with that river of life. Nothing is wrong. There's never anything wrong. There's never anything to change. But when I was older and came to realise, particularly after the loss of my son, and I came to really see very clearly that suffering is an option. Life is here, experiencing ourselves either as a separate individual or as expansive consciousness itself. Suffering is optional because thy will be done, not my individual will. And as much as I, when I say I mean we, force and think we can control life, again and again we'll be shown that we can't. It's impossible to control. And we wouldn't want to. The miracles that are happening all around us in every moment are guiding us if we have eyes to see them. So when I experienced deep grief after the loss of my son, I realised that it was the replay of the trauma and the stories in the mind that was keeping that grief going. What had happened was tragic and terrible, and I grieved deeply. But I realised after some time of healthy grieving and actually embracing grief and going into grief and really making friends with grief, that the continuation of that grief was optional. I could step off the mind train. I could not jump on that train of replaying what had happened over and over again, because it was done. And there's only now. And that was only entering the now as thought form. And if I stepped off that mind train into this eternal moment, which is always now, ever now, there was complete freedom. Of course, the patterns that had been generated through that time of going through a couple of years of trauma with my son, when he was experiencing mental health issues, and there was drugs, etc. involved, and the concern of a parent. But knowing I'd done everything I could do, it was again just seeing through that as being nothing to do with the present moment, and leaving that exactly where it was, which wasn't now. And then stepping into the flow of life in this eternal moment, free. Ultimately, I did quite a bit of work around that, as you know if you've read my book, Shining Through from Grief to Gratitude. But free of any past, which is history, which becomes a story. And when we stop telling those old stories to ourselves, when we stop replaying old dramas, when we stop feeding old beliefs, we really do allow consciousness to flow through completely and meld into this present moment. And we realize then that we are not the mind. We are definitely not the mind. We are not the emotions that are generated. They are flowing through too. We are not the body, because that's limited. But we are the consciousness, the one thing that is everything, that is always here, always now, always in the eternal moment, always and ever available. And that is self-realization, realizing that the self is this expansive, unlimited, infinite consciousness of all that is in the eternal moment, at the moment, expressing through this mind body. It doesn't make the mind body any less, it makes it free. And happiness just happens without a reason. There doesn't have to be a thing for happiness. There doesn't have to be a reason for happiness. There doesn't have to be any happening for happiness. Happiness is no resistance to the flow of life. Absolute, open, and present and available to the miraculous moment. So, remember, step off the mind train, question everything. Let go of all the brainwashing. Words are inadequate at times. Let yourself feel the sense of being, the sense of beingness. If it's easier, close your eyes and just get in touch with that sense of I am present. Being fully present, and let that expand beyond the body to encompass all that is. You are freedom itself. I, we, namaste.